Jeanetto, I'm Christina, and I'm so glad that you're with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. Not sure how long this video is going to be because I thought that maybe you would like to finish this little bookmark with me. So it kind of looks kind of funny right now, but I will link the pattern below. I have a friend of mine who tagged me in a comment thread on Facebook. Someone in our combined circles mentioned that, oh my god, I would love it if somebody could make this for me. And you know, as often happens, you get tagged and, oh, so and so could probably make this. And I reached out because I know both of them, and we got to talking, and they were like, absolutely, yes, could you please make this for me? So I started this on my recent trip, and then I thought I could finish it with you. So this is what it looks like so far. It's just a little like flattened frog. And I'm going to finish it, and then I'm going to, I have some like, I forget what it's called, but it's basically like a starch spray, and so that'll like make this part a little like more heavy duty, and then the other parts are supposed to be little floppy bits. But so I have the eyes on in here, but I have not sewn them to the actual head yet because I need to fill it with polyfill first and sew the mouth on. So I thought you guys might like to do that with me. Just a little chit chat video while I work. What do you think? Maybe we can work together. If you've got something, you can grab it and we can get to work. So I'm just gonna fill this part with polyfill. And normally what I would do for amigurumi is I would put this in a thing of like tights or like pantyhose or something, but this is really, really small, and there's not a lot of space for it to go. So I don't really need a lot of polyfill. So I'm not going to use any tights because the amount I would have to stretch it to make it fit and all of that, it just wouldn't work out so well. So this is the mouth. Right, I made that part already with the tongue. And I think this is kind of long, but I did it to pattern. So I did it however the pattern said to do it. And I'm just gonna snip off now that I have it ready. I'm gonna tie this in a knot and all the way down so that this is tied off, and then I can snip some of this because I already have part of the white and black from the eyes pulled through. So I don't want to make it like a bunch of little pieces sticking out of the head, like for the yarn to come through. So I'm going to make a nice knot, nice and tight, as close to the bottom as I can. And then I'm just going to cut this off, and then this will go in my little light bulb. So I do have a light bulb where I keep all of my like yarny scraps. So I have some from where I pulled the eyes through already, just little bitty scraps here. And then when I do bigger amigurumi, right, normally I would take like the polyfill and put it in some tights and put this inside there like this, and then it just kind of would go in there like that. But since this is so tiny and it's going to be something that's going to be used a lot, not like just sitting on a shelf or something like that, I don't want to have it be too much stuff that could potentially come out of the head. And I have my black yarn, my needle. We're gonna get this mouth on. So, what have you guys been up to lately? I am working in summer school, and I am doing my live streams on Mondays at 1 o'clock Eastern. And I do try to put out content at least a couple of times a week. I shoot for 3 times a week. That doesn't always happen. Okay, it says to put it in the back loop, but guys, I'm not. We'll just take that. Start there. That'll work. Alright, and I don't want the white in there because I have to sew the white on in a minute. I only pulled the eyes through because if I sewed them on now, like completely, then they may not be exactly where I want them to be. But since they're tied in there and there's like a dome shape, I can maneuver them a little bit to be like closer together, farther apart, depending on how the head works out. So that is what I'm doing here. This black yarn is so difficult. I was working on this last night, but I had to put it down because it was dark and I don't have a whole lot of light in here to work. I do have a neck light I can use, but I don't have a ton of light to use. So I was like, let me wait until it's daytime and then I can do it with my friends. I thought that that would be nice to just work together for a little bit, because I don't know about you, but I don't have people that I regularly work with on crafting outside of YouTube. So I mean, I watch tutorials and do that with people, you know, or you know, some people do crochet in chats kind of like this, but they, you know, I mean, I don't have like a group, a crafting group of any sort that I get together with and work with people. So I thought it might be nice for us to do this together. And whatever project you're working on, I don't know. If you'd like to tell me in the comments below, that'd be cool. So I know what you're working on while we're working together. That would be a-okay. Sorry if I'm not completely focused on the camera. Maybe I can get it a little bit closer and I can do it like this, because it'll be in the light and I can see the black stitches better. You really have to like somebody to use black yarn. I don't know about you. I don't mind black yarn, but not only is this black yarn, but it's tiny black yarn, because I am using, for the most part, with the exception of the white, I'm using Hobie's Farmer Cotton 8-4, and I don't know if you've ever seen that. Once I get this on, I will show you what that looks like, because I like to do my amigurumis in cotton. One, because I like to use cotton more than acrylic. It's more of a natural fiber. It's not doing too much to the environment, for the most part. And then also, it doesn't stretch as much, so there's not as much give. So over time, when you're doing amigurumi, the fabric of the actual item will not loosen as much, because cotton just doesn't have it. It doesn't have the stretch in it that acrylic does, because acrylic is plastic. So I like to use cotton for anything I can, but I do really like to use it for amigurumi. It makes, in my mind, it makes a tighter stitch. It's not as fuzzy. Again, it doesn't stretch as much. So, and what I'm doing is I'm just going through the stitch as it was described in the pattern to do, and then I'm going through the black part of, come back. And then I'm not going to go all the way around so that I know whether or not I need more stuffing in the head before I finish closing it up. So I'm about halfway around now. You can see. And so then I'll know, like, do I need more stuffing? And see, like with the eyes, I can kind of move them apart a little like this. Or I can move them closer together if I need to. In the pattern, they're a little bit further apart like this, but I want to make sure the head is stuffed properly before I go through and do any of that. Okay, so I hope that you're having a great time of day, whatever day it is for you. I hope your day has been calm and peaceful, and if it hasn't been, I hope that you find a moment of calm and peace. That's one thing that I've really been trying to do in my life lately. Oh, that just popped out, didn't it? Oh my goodness, I'll have to get that. Thankfully I can just pull the strings right back through. But I have been trying to find, even if I don't have like a solid good day, like everything about the day was good, because that's usually not how life works, right? Can I find a moment of the day that was good? Polyfill's really getting in the way. Can I find a moment in the day that was good? Can I find, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be a perfect moment, but can it be a solidly calm moment, or a joyous moment, a happy moment that I can say, this was a good moment in my day? Excuse me, I'm just going to get up here and get that little eyeball that fell out, because it fell right in between the couch and the table. And as long as I'm gentle, I can grab it. Okay, got it. Alright, so now all I have to do is poke it back through. Because I left enough little stringy there to be able to do that. Don't lose the needle. Don't lose it, don't lose it. Got it, okay. Alright, so this is gonna go right here. It's a good thing I didn't sew the mouth all the way on, because now I can reach up here and snag this back through here. All right. So now, just for good measure, and I can take this out in just a second, but I'm going to take this, since the black is not threaded through right now, and I'm just going to stitch this in so that it doesn't pop out like that again while I'm doing the mouth. And this is just a rough stitch. Like I said, I can take it out, but that way it's on there. Okie dokie. Because I need to put that back in there so my head is still full of polyfill. Okay. There we go. All back together. This thing looks so creepy to me. But it's not staying in my house, so I will leave it be. I'm not super big fan of anything scary or and I don't know about you, but I'm not a scary person, like a scary movie fan. I never have been. When I was little, my stepbrother decided that it would be hilarious to force me to watch Nightmare on Elm Street and Candyman. And how would he force me to watch it, you ask? Well, my mom and stepdad would go out at night with their friends or, you know, whatever. And he was the oldest, so he had control. Just one second. So he was the oldest, right? Because it was myself, my stepbrother, and my stepsister. Now, they didn't always live with us. Sometimes they would live with us, and then sometimes they would live with their mom. It was never like a custody thing. It was just like, oh, we're tired of following these rules, so we're gonna go live with our dad. Or, oh, we're tired of following these rules, so we're gonna go live with our mom. I never had that option. It was always just like, these are the rules, suck it up, buttercup. But they did. And so from time to time, they would come and live with us. And when my mom and my stepdad first got together and they came to live with us, my mom and my stepdad would go out because my stepdad was trying to stay home and not be an over-the-road truck driver, which it didn't work out that way, but long term, but he did that for a little while, and he was a plumber, and they would go out with friends and different things like that, you know, on a Friday night or Saturday, whatever, and leave my stepbrother in charge because he was the oldest. Now, I don't know about you. I didn't really grow up with siblings. I mean, like I said, they would come from time to time, but they weren't there like on a permanent basis. But from my experience, just because someone is the oldest does not mean they are the most responsible. And that could be from people who are full-blood siblings or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter, you know. Just because they're the oldest does not mean that they're always the most responsible of the siblings. So, yeah, well, they, I guess, believed otherwise, or, well, I have no idea. So, what he would do is, he would wait until my parents left, and then he would, because we were told, you know, you got to take turns with the TV because there was only one TV, blah, blah, blah. But he knew how to manipulate the antenna to be able to get different channels. And if you don't know about that, growing up before cable was widely available and things like that, even in just towns, not even in rural areas, because at that time we weren't out in the country, we were in like a suburb town, and you had an antenna, and that would get your TV stations. Usually it was the three major networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, right, in the States. So, he would wait until they left, and then he would manipulate the antenna to get like, you know, the creepy movies or the really different channels. If somebody had cable at a house nearby, he could like figure out how to hook that up, or I don't know, whatever he would do. I have no idea how it all worked, but he would do it. So he would like say, oh yeah, we're gonna like watch a movie as soon as, you know, our parents leave, and we'd be like, okay, cool, we're gonna watch a movie, you know, because we didn't get to like go to the movies or do things like that. And then he would essentially, if we tried to get up because we didn't want to watch the scary movie, he would sit on us or like hold us down and like make us watch it. And so it was a little intimidating, to say the least, to be there and watching that. But that got me to where I did not like to watch scary movies, because I realized just how vivid my imagination is. And if I try to watch a scary movie, I will be up for no less than 48 hours on absolutely no sleep, because my brain will go absolutely insane thinking of every single part of the movie, and I will relive the scares over and over and over again. And that is not something that I want to do. So I was glad when I didn't have to be in the same room anymore, and I could advocate for myself and say, hey, can I go stay with my aunt, or can I go over to a friend's house, or anywhere else. And then as we got older, you know, those tricks and things kind of stopped. He got involved in, you know, his girlfriend or whatever the time was whenever he would come over, his friends. So he stopped doing that to us. But yeah, so I don't really care for the scarier parts of films and things like that. So I tend not to do that part of cinema, or even things like, there's a show, what is it called? The Walking Dead, I think, with zombies in it. Yeah, not my jam, really. Really, really, really not my jam. People are like, oh, you need to watch it, it's amazing, blah, 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 it's like the best, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I'm really solid. I think I'll be okay without ever seeing it. So, creepy things like this tend not to stay in my house. There are other things that I find creepy that probably really aren't creepy. I find them creepy. Not going to tell you what they are. Because I don't want them turning up at my house or in my mail. Because some people will think that they are being funny by sending them to me, and I will genuinely be frightened. So I would rather not. I mean, there are some things that I don't like. Like, I don't care for like the like sock monkeys. I just think they're weird. Some people absolutely. I had a friend for a long time, like a work friend. We taught together, and she adores sock monkeys still to this day. On social media, whatever, she'll post, I got a new sock monkey, and I'm just like, ooh, no thank you. I don't like rodents of any kind. Like, even in zoos, I will go past, I mean, I'll look at them, but like, I don't want to touch them. I don't want to hold them. I'll hold a snake. I'll hold a spider. I don't want to hold a rodent. And I know that may seem weird to some of you who are like, you'll hold a spider? Yeah, sure, I'll hold a spider. I mean, as long as it's not a poisonous one. I'm not going to hold a poisonous spider. That would just be madness for me. And other people are not so worried, but I will get the shakes, and it's not a good idea. So, yeah, I don't like rodents. Growing up, when my son was growing up, there was a kid in his scout troop who had ferrets. Ferrets are rodents. I'm not a fan. And there were like these pet badges that they had to do, like how to take care of your pet or whatever. And they would bring their ferrets to the meeting, and I would just politely step out of the room. And I had a kid one time ask me, like, why do you do that every time they bring their ferret? And I'm like, because I don't like ferrets. And they're like, what did the ferret ever do to you? And I was like, the ferret didn't do anything. I just don't like ferrets in general. So you see, now that I have the eyes on, I put more stuffing in the head. I am going to need more stuffing in the head because there's a spot here. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of what I have. Oh, I dropped it. And put it in here. Let's see. Nope, I'm going to need more. Let's just get the rest of this and put it in there. And that should be enough. I will have to, and I have the black yarn here that I'm holding out to the side so that I can, oh yeah, that's better. And once I sew it up, it'll be nice and full. See? It'll be nice and full when I sew it up finally. Okay, back to sewing. So, let me know in the comments, how do you feel about scary movies? And it can be like, you know, do you watch just general horror films? Do you prefer suspense, like thrillers? Or do you like the jump out and scare you kind of movies? You know? I can do a thriller from time to time. Oh, that polyfill makes me so itchy just because it's the tiny little things that get in my nose. Or, you know, are you like me and you can't watch them at all? Or, you know, what is it like for you when you do watch them? Can you just go to sleep? Do you listen to serial killer documentaries? You know, do you like that true crime kind of stuff? How does that work for you? I'd love to know. Because, you know, I mean, we don't have to all like the same things. If we did, the world would be a very boring place. So, uh-oh, I think I did that wrong. Yep, I went in the wrong stitch. Okay, there we go. Oh, this thing is weird. I don't know. But like I said, I don't have to keep him in my house. It is a paid-for pattern. So if you are looking to make any of these bookmarks, you can get like, they have packages of like, oh, if you like whatever kind, like they have sets. I guess I should say not packages, but they have sets. So you can buy like the woodland set or the amphibian set or whatever. Or you can just go to their Etsy shop and look at what they have. I just bought this one because I don't really plan on making a bunch of bookmarks. I mean, I could be wrong, you know, in the future I could be making more of these, but I don't really see myself making any more. So I didn't buy like a big set of the patterns that they had. They had some cute ones, but not, like I said, I'm not seeing myself making a whole lot of these. So I don't want to spend the money if I'm not going to be doing a whole lot. Put that back through there one more time. There we go. And then I will go through this side here and tie it off. And then I will put it through the black part of the mouth a little bit and kind of go back and forth so that I am kind of sewing it into, but I'm not going to pull too tightly, but that way it's sewn into the part of the mouth, because this is a very thin yarn. I don't know if you've ever used it, and I'll show it to you in a little bit, but it is a thinner yarn. So if you've never used it, you wouldn't know to, and then I'll just pull that out there. And then when I snip it really, really close, and then stuff it back in with the needle. So I just take it, and I'm gonna snip it really, really close to the head like this. And then there's a little bit of black showing, so I'll just take my needle and find that little black dot right there. Just poke it back in there like that. And then just poke around a little bit to make sure that it goes in there. And I just have this one little tail to weave in on this green part here, because, believe it or not, all of the green is sewn in one, there's no tying off of the yarn. So you start out and you make the head, and then you make all of the pieces. So there's no sewing on the body of the amigurumi, which is nice because that helps it to lay flatter. Okay, I'm gonna have to wind this up soon because I don't have a lot of recording time on my phone. I should invest in another recording device, but right now this is what I got. Alright, so I'll just clip that off right there and pull that back through a little. Okay, so this is my finished bookmark. Ta-da! There he is, or she. And then this is the cotton that I used, these three colors. The Farmer's 8-4 cotton. This is color 58, this is color 77, and then the reddish color is color 60. And they are all a like a sport weight or heavier one weight cotton, and they have really nice stitch definition, if you can tell. They work out really well. So I use that for everything but the white because I didn't have that in white, and I used just a very little of this Brazilian cotton for that. And I used a size, where's my hook? I used a size 2.25 millimeter hook in Clover More to make this frog. So I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with me and working on finishing up this frog. I'm going to get it in the mail soon and send it off to its intended recipient. So we both say blah, 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 blah. And as always, be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!